Hey, I thought we'd do today's episode from a different venue. Beautiful morning, out walking Decker the Wonder Dog. A lot of people ask, what kind of dog is that? Well, that's a PBGV is the breed. All right, let's do an update to yesterday's episode about the bombing on Christmas morning in Nashville. So, as we talked about yesterday, a woman hears gunshots just before 6 a.m. on Christmas morning in downtown Nashville, calls 911. The police show up, clear the street, and there's this eerie video or eerie sound, woman's voice that's saying, evacuate. If you can hear this, evacuate. So about 15 minutes after the police show up, a bomb detonates and takes out pretty much the entire block. There's been some news footage of the devastation. It's pretty extreme. And it also took out communications from the AT&T network building, so cell phone internet is still disrupted at this point. And that's all we knew on day one. Yesterday, authorities released the name of a person of interest, Anthony Quinn Warner, a 63-year-old resident of Greater Nashville. And Internet Super Sleuths took to Google Street View and found this guy's alleged residence. A brick two-story in sort of a rural neighborhood with a rudimentary wooden fence around the backyard. Looked to be about a 6-foot fence. And lo and behold, in the screenshots that were posted on the internet is an RV that looks a lot like the RV that the FBI put out in their poster where they were looking for more information. So that's all we know. As we discussed yesterday, we want to be guarded against getting ahead of the facts. The authorities have said Mr. Warner is just a person of interest. They've said there could be more folks involved. What was also posted yesterday is the idea that people had flagged this guy as a risk. I don't know what that means in terms of his behavior, but apparently somebody had warned the FBI a couple of times before about him, and we'll see what that means. It's reminiscent of some of the school shootings in recent years where information comes out after the fact that people had expressed concern about the perpetrator. So we'll see what that leads up to. Authorities are combing through the house. They haven't assigned or figured out any kind of a motive. Don't know if this guy left behind a manifesto or something like that. So we'll have to see on that. We also don't know if he was killed in the explosion. Remember, the authorities did say that they found human tissue in the wreckage, so we don't know if that is Mr. Warner or not. We'll find out soon. No word from the president. So in normal times, a president would try to calm the nation and try to dissuade any copycats. In this case, silence from Mar-a-Lago on this topic. Some folks on Twitter have said, in fact, a political blogger named Brian Tyler Cohen, who also has a YouTube channel, stated the reason that Trump hasn't said anything is he's waiting to figure out if this person of interest is a Trump supporter. And so that's an interesting idea. And you know, we've seen that the Trump matrix is pretty simple in terms of how he goes about commenting on things. It's people who like him versus people who don't. So that's disappointing. Now, some Republicans have had enough, and they're coming out and making statements about, hey, we've got to get past this insanity. So particularly Adam Kinzinger tweeted words to that effect. And so he's immediately attacked by Trump supporters as a rhino, Republican in name only. But at this point, if I was a Republican lawmaker labeled as a rhino, I would wear that as a badge of honor, because what rhino means is not a member of a cult. Okay. As always, thanks for your support. Subscribe, share, comment, like, and I'll talk to you again soon.